Hey everyone, it's Kimmy. I am Mama on a Mission, and I am going to do a video today about my awesome find and sale, what they call a banger in the reselling arena here. But there's a huge story behind it and a couple things that I learned, so I wanted to just do a quick recap of this sale. And I'm going to start all the way from the beginning. I talked about this a week or two ago on my channel, that I went to find some new thrift stores in an area I had never been before, and then I ended up at one of the thrift stores I had been before. So I went to 3 new ones, and then I went to one I had been before. I was exhausted. I had already worked all day, and then for some reason decided to just exhaust myself and go thrifting afterwards. I must have been feeling energetic that day, which I normally am not after already working during the day. Anyways, I rushed through some of these other thrift stores, and I did find one, maybe two, that I feel like I could go to again and put it into my cycle of thrifting, because I have lots of different places I go. I have a lot of different ways that I source, because I don't like putting all of my eggs in one basket. So anyways, I'm exhausted. It's like 7 o'clock at night, and I find this pair of bibs. And I knew that it was going to be a good sale, but I did not know at that point how good of a sale it would be. In fact, when I brought it home, I thought, oh, I bought this for $3.99, and I really felt like it was going to be like a $25 to $30 sale, which, mind you, is definitely right in the realm of where I like to be. I've said that to you guys all the time, that, you know, taking $3 to $4 and making, selling something at $30 is perfectly fine with me. It's a great return on investment. It's a great percentage as far as flipping your $4 into at least $20 of profit. So I was perfectly fine with that. I eventually showed my sister, and the way she reacted, I was like, I could tell that she was really excited about it. She was like, "Let me touch it." And I was like, what? I've never found one before. Now, my sister is really into vintage items. She's into a lot of vintage kids items, like things we all probably wore back in like the 90s and 2000s. She's really into that. So seeing her reaction, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe this is better than what I thought it was. So I ended up going home. I did a thrift haul on what I had found that day from the 3 thrift stores and the one where I found this. And at that time, in that video, you guys can go back. I think the video says like thrift haul with a banger, because that's what my sister kept saying was, oh, this is a banger. And I was like, what? Okay. But I hear people say banger all the time in the reselling world. So anyways, in that video, you could go, it's like 2-3 weeks ago, I said, after doing some more research, I thought I was going to get $50 to $75 for this item, and that was fantastic. Like, I'm totally happy with that. So this all happened within like 24 hours. Worked all day, hustled my butt to all these thrift stores, completely exhausted, excited that I found something that may have been like kind of cool and rare. Talked to my sister, did the thrift haul, all these things, like all this emotion, all of these things, like, oh my gosh, maybe I found something cool, and doing the research, trying to find what I should do. I ended up saying, okay, well, I'm going to start it on an auction and just see how it goes. So I finagled around with some numbers with that, and I originally said I was going to do $49 start, because I thought, well, that's what it's worth, and that's what I should get for it. So I'm going to start there. I ended up starting at 99 cents. But I did put a reserve on it. So here's one of the the things that I learned throughout this process is you can still put a reserve on an item if you really want to get a certain amount. I don't think a lot of people do this anymore. And it was a $5 fee. I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I did it that way, but I wanted to get at least $50 for it. So I put a reserve on it. I started the auction at 99 cents with a reserve so that I knew I was going to get my $49 for it. The cost of putting a reserve on an auction bid on eBay was $5. So on top of my insertion fee or whatever, it was like $6 to list this auction, which is fine. I was really excited. I don't do a lot of auctions. I do mostly buy it nows, and I do with best offer. So here's all this like chaos around this item, and not knowing what it's actually worth, what it could go for. I will put up some of the different other solds that are surrounding this. I guess I really haven't even like gone into it. It's a Teletubby bibs. The Teletubbies. You guys remember them? So there's all this, like, in 24 hours, like, all these things going on. So I like rushed to list all these things. I got a death pile a mile high back here, but I rushed home to list a baby kid item because I was so excited about it. This is how I am. So the drama continues. I put it up for 99 cents with the reserve within. Actually, I should look. So I have it pulled up here. I'll also put a picture up here so you guys can see. I put in the bidding. I looked up the bidding history. Within minutes, I had bids on this item. It was like, poo, poo, poo. My phone's going off. I couldn't believe it. My heart starts racing. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening. What's going on? I'm not even joking. It went up to $100. $100 in less than an hour. In less than an hour, it was up to $100. Now, what I can say is that I'm assuming you can have saved searches that give you alerts when new items are listed. So if there are collectors out there of vintage Teletubbies items, they probably have an alert on their phone. So if you find something really rare, it could be that someone literally has an eBay thing that says when something new comes up and says a new vintage Teletubby has been listed, boom. I'm assuming that's what happened. Or vintage bibs, vintage kids clothes. People who collect these or like to buy these probably have an alert set on their phone, because within minutes I had views, watchers, and bids. My heart was like boom, 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 boom. I'm messaging my family because we all kind of like this kind of stuff. I'm texting my teenage kids, look at this, look what mom did. You know, it was fun, it was exciting, my heart was racing, just because it's fun. I mean, that's what it's about, right? Like, it's easy to get in the monotony of every day I come down, I list, I ship, I cross post, you know, and that's my job, that's what I do. But this auction and stuff kind of added a lot of fun, but there is a couple more drama pieces I'm going to fit in here really quick. So it got up to $100, and then it was like, it went silent. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. Well, suddenly I got a message from someone who said, I will give you $300 right now to buy this item. And I wrote her and I said, perfect, send me an offer, because my buy it now, I paid for all the extra fees, that's why I paid $6. You could send an offer to buy it now. Well, she never did, but another person did, or he, I don't even really know if it's a girl or a boy. Another person did, and now I originally thought I made a mistake. This person submitted a $250 buy it now bid on these bibs. And I messaged my sisters, I'm talking to my husband, like, do I take it right now? What do I do? Because I don't know, at this point, it's worth whatever anyone is willing to pay for it. Now, was my mistake that I did not accept it at that time? Possibly. Because it was like late. Like, I had already been I'd been thrifting all this time, talked to my sister, all these things, like, it was late. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sleep on it, okay? Because my blood pressure is through the roof about a Teletubby bib. And I just need to go to bed and just let my whole body just shut down for a minute, because my adrenal fatigue, I was about to like sleep for days at this point because of all the things that were happening. Oh, Hot Mess Express here. All the things that were happening, it was just a lot in a small amount of time. So in the morning, I wake up and what happened? What happened, Kim? First of all, the lady who wrote me and said she was going to submit a $300 offer never did. But secondly, the lady who, the person who submitted the $250 offer retracted it. And I can show you down here. I have two retractions on this auction. She retracted her bid and said that she put in the wrong amount. So I wake up thinking I made a disastrous decision because it's at like $100 and something. And I could have just said yes and it would have sold for $250. So I'm feeling like a little deflated. I'm still gaining ground with watchers, views, people asking questions. Like, okay, you know, and $100 is still great to me. So I don't want anyone to think I'm ungrateful. I'm $4 to $100 all day. Yes, please. Yes, please. But I did end up getting a couple more bids. One of the bids was the person who retracted the offer. So bids and offers are two different things. This person had retracted their buy it now offer, but they were still bidding like live auction on the item. And it bid all the way up to $200. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I don't know. I think I had like 9 different bidders at the end of the day. Guess what happened? I woke up the next morning because it's a 7-day auction. The person who bid it up to $200, which was the same person who was going to offer me $250 and retracted it, retracted the offer. Retracted all of her bids, his bids, whoever's bids, retracted all of the bids. So they did 2 retractions. So I guess learning moment here is just because someone's bidding doesn't mean they can't make an excuse to unbid their item. So I'm like, this should not be allowed twice. Come on. Come on. Now you're playing with my feelings. You're playing with my heart on this. And actually, I think it was a girl because I don't know. The part of the name was in the title of who was bidding. I think it was a girl. But either way, it doesn't matter who it was. You're playing with my heart. You retracted an offer, a buy it now offer, and you retracted all of your bids. So then it was like, coo. All of the things that they had bid up to $200 went all the way back down because this person made the second retraction. Yeah. So it went down to $122, and that's where it ended, which is fantastic. I am happy about that, y'all. I don't want any perceptions like you're ungrateful. Love it. But the drama with this and a couple of the things that I've learned with the retractions and stuff, with the fees, you can still do a reserve. You can, add all those things to an auction if you decide to, if you feel like you have an item that could potentially be worth quite a bit and you want to see how it does. That is still an option on eBay. But the retractions, that hurt. I will tell you that. It was like, ooh. It was an emotional roller coaster, which is kind of fun because, like I said, I don't get that a whole lot, being that most of my items are buy it now. It's like someone buys something, like that's just kind of how it goes. The last thing I was going to also mention, if people didn't know if this was still a real thing, is you can still put in second chance offers, which I did pull up here on the screen as well. That is when you have an auction and people bid, boop, 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 boop. If the top person had ended up not paying, then you could send an offer to the other bidders that also bid on the item if you wanted to. So that is still an option because I did have some questions about that, whether or not that was still a thing. I've been doing this 14 years and I normally don't do auctions. So I didn't know if you could still send, it's called a second chance offer. If your winner, your top bidding buyer on an auction does not pay for whatever reason, you can still go back into those bids and send a second chance offer to the other bidders in order to see if they still wanted to buy the item. So I think that's still a nice feature. Luckily, the person who finally did buy it, which was not retraction person, that person's out. She gone. They did pay. It's been delivered. I don't have any feedback or any messages yet, so hopefully everything's fine. But that is the drama on my banger of an item. It was super fun. It gave even my kids were kind of watching it. My family was kind of watching the auction, you know. So all in all, it was fun. It was good. No problem. I love it. I also learned that if you find anything vintage Teletubbies, buy it, because there's collectors out there. You know, the whole Y2K vibe is really huge right now. So I think part of that, Teletubbies was really huge in the Y2K, and I think that's also why it's super popular right now. If you look up the solds, vintage Teletubby on eBay, you will find that there's like some things that are oddly priced, $200, $300, $400. And now I know. So if I ever find any other Teletubbies things in the next year or two, while it's probably going to still be hot, I will be picking them up. But I might not do an auction, because I thought I was going to have a heart attack with all of that. But I did learn some things. I'm happy with the profit all day. If I could do that all day, I wouldn't be sitting here in the same Columbia sweatshirt that I've been wearing for 10 years. I would buy a new one. But, you know, I don't always get to have those fun finds. So overall, it was fun. I learned a few things. Hopefully sharing this story with you brought you a smile, but also helped you learn a few things about the auction process and the options for auctioning off items, and potential sidelines that could happen along the way, because I did not expect that retraction. It was not even a thought in my mind. I wasn't like, oh yeah, she could just retract that. Did not even think about that. So there's the story. I'm still happy about it. It was a good sale for me, so I'm thankful. And gave me something to do. My life's boring sometimes, so it gave a little spice to our lives for a little bit. My kids were really proud. They're like, wow, Mom, good job. That's awesome. I'm like, thank you. All right, guys. Well, that's the story. I hope that you will like, subscribe, or comment. Let me know what you think. What do you think of this craziness? All right, guys. I will check in soon, and I hope you guys are doing well. Bye.